you're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way.
And I'm Justin. I'm here in studio with my trusty sidekick, Jennifer Carter, and
Hello.
Executive Assistant by day.
Hello there.
As well as some other helpers that we have. We've got Amira.
Hello.
And Amira, how old are you?
10.
And Joshua, how old are you?
Hello, I'm 7.
Welcome. And Gabriella. How old are you, Gabriella?
5.
5. We have a couple of extra helpers today.
We do.
And we have an amazing show program for you today. You can remember to call us live anytime you like throughout the show, 512-643-LIVE, or that's 512-643-5483. And you can always send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. You know, you've been saving religiously for retirement. Markets may have not been your friend. Time is short. You're going to have to work longer. You're going to have to make up for some losses. I see this time and time again with some people that I work with. Maybe you're already retired and looking at the possibility of having to go back to work. Before you dust off that resume, stick with us for the next hour as we visit with Mike Burns, author of The Baby Boomer's Guide to Recovering Your Lost Retirement. This may be just what the doctor ordered. You're going to want to stay tuned for Mike Burns. But, you know, first, I wanted to address a couple of things that are very near and dear to me, my family. You know, our hearts go out to the folks that are suffering with the tragedy that happened yesterday in Paris, and we wish them the best, and we wish them all well. We had the Veterans Day holiday on Wednesday, and you know, we'd also like to thank our troops and those that have served in our military and armed services and help keep us safe and protect our freedoms and liberty that we hold so dearly in this country. Can we all thank them?
Peace for Paris.
Peace for Paris.
Peace, Paris.
Peace for
Peace
Paris.
for Paris.
And thank you to our soldiers. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So, you know, family is an essential part of life. And for me, being a provider, my 2 children being here with us today, it's very important that I provide the kinds of services and support to my clients and customers of Fort Wealth Management throughout the weeks as a retirement planner, financial professional, so that I can continue to have the ability to provide for my family. And, you know, it's so important for all of us to be financially savvy, financially strong, and have a plan for ourselves and our families. You know, I want to be able to leave behind a good legacy. I want to make sure that my children are well educated and can grow up in an environment of safety, a peaceful environment where they can thrive and have families of their own one day. And it's very important that all of us remember that we are all human, regardless of our perspectives, regardless of our maybe political affiliations. We all have our own hopes and dreams. And it's important to remember that we all deserve to have a piece of this world as we pass through it, that we can enjoy, we can live the way we want to, and we can respect those same decisions that other people have, those same rights. But, you know, it doesn't come free. We know that. We're aware that we have to work hard. We have to have a country that's full of financially strong and capable people so that we can pay the taxes necessary to support the government and the service people that we have protecting us and allowing us to enjoy our lives with the kind of freedom and respect that we all deserve. And, you know, sometimes I think we may take it for granted here as we many people that live in this country have never left this country. And I think it's not difficult to see as we turn on the news and we look at other parts of the world that, you know, we really do have something special here in the United States. And more specifically, we have something special here in Texas. So it's very important to me. I want you all to know that when I plan for my clients, when I help my clients understand how to live the retirement of their dreams that they deserve because they save, they work hard to do the right things. They may have put their children through college. They may have had a number of stumbling blocks along the way. I see the work that we do at Fort Wealth Management in a way being a way to give back to those people and to provide for a better society here in Austin, Texas, for sure. And that's going to mean a better future for my children, for Amira, right?
Yes.
And for Joshua,
Yes.
right? And Gabriella.
Yes.
Okay, and so do we want people to be smart with their money?
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you guys save your money, right? You guys have piggy banks?
I don't like to spend it.
Oh, you don't? Wow, that's good.
good. Wow.
Okay. Save it for later, right?
My
You might
dad
need
did.
it.
My dad gave me money too.
And what did you do with that, Gabriella?
Put it in my piggy bank.
Oh, I
that's
like
awesome.
that. That's
I
great.
know.
So, yeah, we're going to have to learn how to get interest on that money. We're going to have to learn how to invest that money one day, right? And be smart. Okay. All right. Well, let's say one last time. Let's tell everybody in Paris what we want to tell them. What do we want to tell people in Paris?
Peace for Paris.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you.
So when we get back from this break, we're gonna visit with Mike Burns, the author of Boomer's Guide to Recovering Your Lost Retirement. We want to help you understand how you can make a comeback regardless of your age. That yes, you can do it, and we don't have to be reliant on Social Security alone, and we shouldn't be. Let's be more self-reliant. That's what we've learned with the recent budget bill that's been passed and some of those quote-unquote loopholes that have been eliminated from maybe your plans. And I know the plans of some of our clients. We're making adjustments, but you know what? We can. Yes, we can, and we want to help you understand how you can when we come back from this break. Again, you're listening to The Retirement Journey with Justin Fort right here on Talk 1370. Welcome back. This is Talk 1370. You're listening to The Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, and you can call us live at 512-643-5483 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. Our kids are just so cute.
I know, they're adorable.
I had a big smile the whole time.
Yes.
They did very well. They're not in the room with us anymore, just so you know. So our nerves are a little more relaxed.
Yes,
now.
yes.
They did fantastic. We're so
did.
proud of them. Beautiful kids. So we're back. We are going to be visiting now with Mike Burns. Jennifer, can you tell our listeners a little bit about Mike Burns?
Absolutely. Mike Burns is a businessman, entrepreneur, coach, consultant, and author. A popular speaker and media guest. He is currently the CEO of A+ Conferencing. Mike is also the author of The Boomer's Guide to Recovering Your Lost Retirement, the Bill Fisher story. He also has a series of Boomer's Guides in the works. These same methods were used to call the housing top in 2005, the commodity top in 2008, as well as the 9-year cycle top gold in 2011.
Welcome. How you doing?
Good, Justin. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Doing great. We are excited to have you on, Mike. And your book. I was reading through it. Very interesting way to help people understand some facts about finances and things that they can do to put themselves in a better position. Even though some of us, it may feel like time has left us behind and it's too late.
Right. I want it to be a very quick read. You actually can read it in a couple of hours, but I want it to be very common sense, not very technical language, so that the average person could pick it up, read it, and say, gosh, I could make some changes and improve my financial well-being.
I thought it was very nice of you and wise to talk about Bill Fisher. Can you explain who Bill Fisher is and what his story is?
Right, Justin. Bill Fisher was my father-in-law, and I got to observe him over about the last 30 years or so, and watched him how he invested and kind of look at his whole life story, and I thought it was great because he was very successful in the beginning. He was from Kansas City, and he had an appliance store called Reliance Appliance. He had the KitchenAid franchise, and he was doing very well. Well, he forgot one key thing. He forgot to renew his insurance, and his building burned down in the 50s, and so he lost everything. They pulled the KitchenAid franchise, and he was just thrown into a terrible depression. I think he just sat at home for 10 years. And finally, at the encouragement of his wife, he went back to work as an entry-level person at Southwestern Bell at the telephone company in his late 50s.
Wow.
Well, he'd lost everything, all his money, so he had to start over. And so he started saving, and over about an 18-year period, he was able to amass a net worth of $1 million on an entry-level employee's job. So I thought that was a great story to tell people out there who had just experienced the worst recession in their life, and how to bounce back from that, what they could do.
We all love comeback stories. We love to see how the human spirit can overcome in the face of tragedy and in the face of unexpected, unwanted events. I think that's a great story. Exactly. It's a good lesson, very motivational.
Exactly. In fact, he started in his late 50s. Well, when he turned 65, they said he had to retire. It was a forced retirement. And he didn't stand for it. He went and got an attorney, and that was about the time Reagan had said, look, that's age discrimination. You can work as long as you want. So they hired him back at his old position. He continued working there till he was 84. He was the oldest employee in Southwestern Bell.
Wow.
Yeah, and I actually like, your book. You have resources pages. You've got some information on how people could find some work that they could actually do at home. You have a pretty good background in the telecommunications industry, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. Yeah, I started work for Southwestern Bell out of college myself in Houston, and was transferred around a lot in about 7 different locations, St. Louis, and ended up in New Jersey at headquarters. So then after that, I was about 11 years there, and then I started my first business, which was in the call center industry. I did that for about 24 years. And then I got into conferencing, audio, web, and desktop video conferencing services, and I still have A-plus conferencing to this day. Well, one of the ways we sell our services is through independent agents. And anybody can work right out of their home and sell whatever, whether it's conferencing services, any product or service at all, right from their home, and be your own boss, so to speak. So you don't have to go to work and pull the old 9 to 5.
Yeah, and this is a real deal type of position. You're obviously familiar with those late night infomercials or those. I really think of many of those things as scams where you have to pay $300 or $500 to set up your own business, and then really nothing ever happens. They just sold you a bunch of junk.
This is really the real deal. I have independent agents working out of their office. They're independent contractors. They set their own schedules. They do whatever they want. They can sell something for somebody else. It's not exclusive, but that are making 6 figures a year selling conferencing services.
Yeah, that's a good thing to be able to do at home. I know a lot of people when they talk about having to work more, they'll say Home Depot, they'll say a number of these big box stores, thinking they actually have to get out and go somewhere and stand on their feet. But what you're telling us is that if they want to stay at home, we can be a little more creative with the kinds of things that can be done. And telecommunications is one area, and you actually have in the resource section of your book, you've got a couple of other companies and institutions, I guess, that you might recommend that people look into.
Right. There's several things back in that resource section. There's, in addition to me and telecom, there's other companies as well that they can be agents for and contractors for. And what's beautiful about that, you determine your own schedule. You're working out of your home. You can work as little or as much as you want to.
And as a sorry to cut you off, I was just gonna add as a certified financial planner, professional retirement income planner. I know the statistics related to working longer and what that really does, and I see it in practice, what that does to someone's retirement, how it just really makes things so much better and easier the longer that someone can actually work and be able to maybe stave off having to pull from assets or too much, or do what we call maybe a hybrid retirement, where it's part-time work with maybe part-time draw, but still maybe defer Social Security. There's so many ways to do this retirement thing, but the longer our health lasts and the longer we can work and do something that we enjoy, do something that is going to be maybe lower stress for us, the better off our finances are going to be, and the better we're going to have chance-wise to not run out of money and to be able to overcome inflation and all kinds of things. And so
right, exactly.
I applaud you for this. I think this is important for people to understand.
It really is. You don't want to start living. You see these people retire at 55 or 58, 60, 65, and we're all living longer, so they could run out of money. They're starting to use up their resources and deplete their financial resources. So the key is to establish at least one source of income to pay your ongoing bills, and then let your financial resources build up, and hopefully you make more money than you spend, so anything you have left over you can save and put into different investments.
Yeah, and isn't it always easier and better for the most part to continue to work into the 60s and 70s rather than leave a position with a tenuous retirement and, with maybe a faulty plan. Of course, that's always a problem, but maybe leave a little too soon and then one day, turn 80 or 82 years of age and realize, hey, that didn't last. Now I need to look for a job. That's the wrong time, in my opinion, to be looking.
Right, exactly. And what you really don't want to do is do something that you hate. I mean, if you have to make money, but you want to do something that you enjoy. And I think later in life, you should take the time to look at what would that be. A lot of people, another area is they monetize a hobby. So these people that collect all these different things, and you look at American Pickers and some of these shows where all of a sudden this junk and stuff from ages old now becomes valuable because people value it and they're collecting it. They exhibit it in their homes. So, whether it's stamps, baseball cards, memorabilia, it's unbelievable. Some of these people that buy and sell and make a nice living at it.
And that can be fun. Making money can be fun, right?
That's
and I think
fun.
it's
Absolutely.
so important to understand. One question I often get with people is, what else am I going to do? And if I retire, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe taking some time to speak with others that have retired before you is a good idea, right? Maybe read some books. Maybe get out a little bit and take a look at what you really enjoy doing, and then maybe there may be a way to earn some money that way. I think that's wise.
Right,
I love
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. So that's the thing. Create some new sources of income.
And with the we talked a lot last week about the budget bill that went through and how Social Security, some of those loopholes have been taken away, and so now more than ever, it's so important for you to take advantage of all that you have resource-wise. That includes your health, your wellness, your freedom, the skills that you have honed over the years for the variety of careers you may have had. We know the average number of careers for most Americans is in the 6 to 7 range, so there's probably a variety of skill sets that you have that maybe you could dust off. But use all the resources. That includes your investments. It includes, and we talk a lot about investments because as a financial professional, retirement planner, people want to understand, you want to understand how to maximize your 401k, your IRAs, your savings, do you need long-term care insurance, all of these questions. We have to maximize everything that includes you. It includes your health and includes your work opportunities. We are going to be back with more of Mike Burns, author of The Baby Boomer's Guide to Recovering Your Lost Retirement. the Bill Fisher story, his father-in-law, very touching story, very inspiring for all of us. We'll be back here after this break. I'm Justin. This is Retirement Journey, Talk 1370.
Blind man sat on a fence, but it don't work. Keep coming up with love, but it's so slashed and torn.
Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. I'm Justin, and I'm here to answer questions, speak with you live if you like. We'd love to hear you and hear your thoughts and hear your questions. 512-643-5483. You can also send us your questions or comments via email to ask@fortwm.com. We're returning with our visit with Mike Burns, author of The Boomer's Guide to Recovering Your Lost Retirement, the Bill Fisher story. And you know what? I know a lot of you listening, you either are one of these folks that needs to recover, and maybe you are looking at the prospect of having to work maybe longer than you had thought or previously planned. Or you know someone in that same situation. And so this program is meant to go out to you and those people that you know that could use some inspiration and maybe some advice and some recommendations. And you know, what better way to learn than to learn by those that have gone before. And that's precisely what Mike Burns has done. His book here, it's called The Bill Fisher Story because Bill Fisher was his father-in-law. And Mike, you talked about how your father-in-law was a good example to you, and what a great tribute to your father-in-law. I would imagine that a lot of father-in-laws are thinking right now, my son-in-law never write a book about me.
Thanks. You know, and maybe it's fortunate my own father is passed because you know, what's he writing about his father-in-law, not me?
Right. You get a little jealous here. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's wonderful all the same. And you know, can you just tell us a little bit about what you did learn from your father-in-law? Give us a little sneak peek into your book here.
Well, yeah, I was able to watch what he did and what he invested in, and I came out with some principles, and it kind of developed a little philosophy. One of them is the 70-70 retirement program. And so what I did is I saw, you know, hey, he worked till 84. Well, why don't we just work till 70? If you could just extend your working for another 5 years or maybe even longer, as long as you're healthy and as long as you're doing what you enjoy, or you're working out of your home in a hobby that's monetized, keep doing it. So that's point number one. Keep working. Don't retire, because when you retire, you start going through your financial assets. And then the second thing was, hold off on your Social Security. Bill didn't take his Social Security until he was 70 or 70 and a half. And so he got the full maximum amount, which was for him around $3,300 a month back when he retired. And so he had that, you know, and he lived till he was 93. So he was, in effect, got 23 years of $3,300 a month in Social Security. And he was still working at the phone company. He was an entry-level employee making about $50,000, but he was able to invest that $3,300 every month.
That's fantastic.
And then plus, at 65, he got a manual pension. His pension came available, it wasn't that much because he hadn't worked that long, 8 or 9 years, but he got about $1,100. He was able to invest that. And then he also did DRIP. The three things he invested in were DRIPs, the dividend reinvestment programs, where you can buy the stocks in public companies and then have the dividends automatically reinvested in more stock. And then number two, he did muni bonds. So he would do tax-free bonds, and he tried to get long-term bonds that were paying around 5%. Now, up where he was from, it was free. There was no income tax, but there was a state tax. Now, down here in Texas, where we're from, there's no state tax. So if you're getting 5%, you're getting the full 5%. It's not taxed. So I learned that from him. Then the third thing was he invested in some rental properties in the Country Club Plaza area in Kansas City, and so he was making another $4,000 or $5,000 in rental income a month.
And
So
he wasn't living like a hermit and not traveling, and you
No,
described
not at all.
he lived a full life.
That's a good point, and that was brought up in a couple other shows I was on. Is that Bill didn't live in a cave? He lived in a nice home, and he would go to dinner at the country club. He loved to travel. We took many trips to Europe and all over the United States, and he had a wonderful life, very active.
Yeah, and if you're struggling with what you're going to do about your retirement future, it's never too late to reassess your circumstances, your situation, look at your resources, and figure out ways that you can maybe earn a little bit more, doing something that you enjoy or love, defer Social Security. Some of these are things that Bill Fisher did are wise, and we want to talk more about what Bill Fisher did, but I want you all to know, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. I'm Justin, and you can call us live at 512-643-5483 or send us questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. And now I want to turn to one of our callers, Diane in Round Rock, who has a question for Mike Burns. Hi, Diane. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I'm really enjoying your show. I'm somewhat a new listener, and I really appreciate your show on Saturdays.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you very much. We appreciate you listening.
No problem. And Mr. Burns, I have a question. You mentioned about working at home and that you were involved in conference services that you sold at home. Are you willing to discuss that a little bit more?
Sure, Diane, absolutely.
Great. I'm going to hang up and listen.
Okay, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Anybody can work from home, and in conferencing services, everybody uses conferencing these days. When I first started out 25 years ago in the business, I had to do missionary work. People didn't understand you could have 20 people on one telephone call and not be able to see them, and you could actually get work done. So that experience has improved dramatically with the introduction of HD quality video services. But even just the plain old conference call, there's just millions of people that use conference calls every day. Well, we got into that business where we have the equipment. They call them conference bridges, where we can bridge people together. But all our agents do when we try to get new business is they call upon local businesses in their community or nonprofit organizations and tell them that see if they could give them a quote for the conference service and get them a better rate. And nowadays, a lot of people are using conferencing service for continuing education and webinars and all sorts of training. And so we even have medical in the medical field. They're doing video medical telemedicine, as they call it. So there's just so many of these applications in all these different industries. And if somebody was interested in doing that with A+ or anybody else, they could always give me a call or call my company, and we have a training program that we can do over the phone and teach them how to do that so they can get extra money coming in.
And Mike, do you want to give Diane and our listeners the website address that they could also go to?
Yes. The company is A+ Conferencing, and the website is www.a+, the plus is spelled out, PLUS, conferencing.com. And the 800 number is 888-239-3969. And they can ask for me, or they can ask for Susan Farage. She's also works with the agents as well.
Well, fantastic. Thank you for that, Mike. So, let's jump back in, if you will, to some of what you learned, more of what you learned with respect to your father-in-law, Bill Fisher. You've put a lot of this information in your book, of course, and people can get a hold of your book by, I would imagine, they're going to the boomersguides.com as well. contacting Mike directly. I have 2 copies, by the way, and I'm so bad about announcing this early on in the show that we want to give you a copy of Mike Burns' book. We just need to know that you want it. And one way to do that is to call us here live. And I gave you the number before. I'll give it again, 512-643-5483. And or give us a call at our office during the day or now. Leave us a message, 512-433-6492. And you can stop by and get Mike Burns' book, The Boomer's Guide to Recovering Your Lost Retirement, The Bill Fisher Story. It's a nice and easy read and has some good words of wisdom that may be helpful to you. And so also, if you'd like to visit with me in the office anytime, of course, you can call that number, 512-433-6492. And I always promise to be transparent and honest. And in a lot of ways, I teach my clients what their options are, the pros and the cons to all different things. And, Mike, we were talking about some of the investments that your father-in-law really liked. And you talked about DRIPs, and you talked about municipal bonds, and you talked about real estate. And, a little background that I read in the book here about you and your father-in-law is that you guys really don't come from the financial services industry, licensed or anything like that. This is really just, what Bill found as a way for him to have a place to store his wealth and to grow it that he could understand.
Right. And he just didn't look across it. He had financial planners, and he used his professional people to help him and guide him in what investments to pick and choose and how to do that. And, of course, I was able to observe what he did, and I used some of his professionals as well. So, yeah, the time to start is now, and professional help is much encouraged.
Yeah, and, I always try to make a point that, just my position, there's a lot of different financial professionals out there. Some have different licensing, some have different duties. I mean a fiduciary duty or a suitability duty. And it's important to understand who you're working with and what kind of advice you're getting. And does that person work for a company, or are they able to look at multiple investment options for you or insurance products for you? Are they independent? Are they not? How is that going to impact the advice and recommendations you get? And that's important. Those are all important questions. I think one thing that people focus a lot on is fees, of course, right? However, most people that I meet with really don't have a complete hold on all of the fees that they're actually paying. But yet there's a lot of confidence involved with them until we dig a little bit deeper and do some analysis. And that's something that I like to do first and foremost. But as a retirement planner, it doesn't matter to me what kinds of investments or products or insurance policies that people have or which companies or institutions. What matters to me is that there's a plan, and that plan is meant to help the individual, my clients, achieve their goals the way they see it. And we may need to use a variety of different investments. We may need to use a variety of different insurance companies even. We may or may not need a long-term care insurance policy. We may want to invest in real estate. There is so many possibilities. What ultimately matters is that you understand that whoever is giving you guidance, you understand what's in it for them and why what they stand for, what their philosophies are, and is that in line with your goals and your philosophies. And, what we're talking about now, and I know I've got to get to break. Everyone's kind of pointing their finger at me. But what we're talking about really with respect to Bill Fisher is we're talking about a can-do attitude and a never give up type story, almost a midlife rags to riches type tale that was just almost a reincarnation or a revival of the American dream for one man, Bill Fisher, who's the father-in-law of Mike Burns. A wonderful story. We're going to go to break, and I've got a couple of other questions I want to ask you, Mike, and we'll just stay tuned for that. And you're going to want to stay tuned to the Retirement Journey. Again, I'm Justin. This is The Retirement Journey right here on Talk 1370. We'll be right back.
The morning sun is rising. It's kissing the day. Oh, the wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
This is Talk 1370. You're listening to The Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. You can call us live at 512-643-5483 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. We are so happy to be visiting with Mike Burns today and impart some words of wisdom to you and your family so that you can have the retirement of your dreams and know that regardless of what life may have thrown at you, a can-do attitude, an upbeat spirit, and a desire to achieve, and the ingenuity to look around and find ways for you to be able to utilize yourself, your resources to make all that happen is really what we're talking about. And Mike, here's a good question. This book, we've been talking a lot about retirement. This is, of course, the Retirement Journey show. We talk a lot about boomers and retirement, but is this book really targeted only for boomers?
That is a good question. We targeted it for boomers, or I did, because they were just coming out of this horrible recession of 2008, and some people saw their funds, their retirement funds, get cut in half or even below, some 60 or 70% down. So I really wanted to tell them that instead of giving up, there's hope to come back, and here's a great story to emulate. But no, the answer is this applies to the younger you are, the better your outcome will become. If you can start saving 10% at least when you first start to work, you'll be a millionaire, maybe a multimillionaire, if you manage your money correctly and let it multiply. And
from my experience, Mike, the clients that I have that are wealthy and happy and are leading a stress-free life, really what they did is they were smart with their savings. They put money away. They had a reliable job, or they found the reliable jobs, and they kept them, and they just did what a lot of people may think is boring. A lot of them didn't go out and chase after high returns and move in and out of different mutual funds, which is what a lot of people do, and I see a lot of wealth eroded that way. And I found that my wealthier clients are kind of the, can-do-it attitude, continually saving and time. You have a part of the book here, compound interest, the miracle of it, and we all know that. If you've had a little bit of math training, you know that compounding is an amazing thing, and over time, compounding can do wonders. And, when it comes to work, if you're maybe undersaved, I meet people often that I have to tell them, look, you really are going to have to work for another 5 to 8 years at least, and you need to be putting away X amount of dollars. And they're so relieved to understand what has to take place, what they need to do. They're relieved to know that I will tell them the honest truth based on everything that I understand, and not just sit there and say, well, let's just buy a fund and roll the dice, and you look great, and pat on the head, see you later. I take responsibility for the recommendations and advice that I give to people. For many, this is their life. This is important stuff. It
is really important stuff, especially when you're getting older and you're going to live a long time, and you need the financial resources to make it. At
some point, that ship will set sail into the retirement horizon, and there's not going to be a do-over. And we just need to make sure, you need to make sure that your ship doesn't set sail without proper provisions, proper planning, and at the right time. Maybe you need to load some more crates onto that ship, more provisions before you set sail. So just make sure that you visit with a financial professional that maybe specializes in retirement planning. If you need help, talk to those that went before you, get some words of wisdom that way. Get some help, and then know when you depart on that long journey that you're doing it with full confidence. If you can't say that with a 95% confidence, you're not going to run out of money, then don't retire until you meet with a financial professional that really knows what they're doing, really has your interest at heart, and can give you that kind of confidence. Don't do it.
Well, Justin, you bring up another good point, too, earlier, is that for meeting with professionals, is you can't invest in a vacuum. We talked about that. The rules change. So you never know what Obama's going to come down with, some enactment or what have you. And so when the rules change, you just talked earlier about Social Security guidelines changes. So you need to be plugged into a professional so you can stay abreast of all these changes and issues and make the right decisions.
That's a great point. And, the rules can change, and that's why for many of my clients and myself, we don't want to depend on any one institution for everything. We don't want to have the government taking care of us for everything. I've had clients that were both. I had a couple actually. I'm recalling now. Both Air Force retirees. Both had fantastic Air Force pensions. They had Social Security. The government kind of favors those kinds of folks, and rightfully so. They served our country. But, they told me that, listen, with the rest of the money that we have, our IRA money, things we've saved along the way, we do not want that anywhere near the government because we've got so much already. We're so dependent on the federal government already. And, the federal government so far has been good for it in those pensions. But, with respect to Social Security, we're seeing, just recently, promises have been broken.
Right.
And that's a wake-up call. For people like me, that's a big problem.
It is. I see a lot of my peers who took their Social Security early, like at 62, so they're only getting the minimum, and they're not working, and so they're just struggling to get by. So if Social Security goes away, they're in a world of hurt. So you can't depend upon the government.
No, and we do need to make sure that we keep our representatives informed, send letters, call them, passing bills, budget bills with subtitles entitled "Protecting Social Security Benefits" when all it did was remove benefits is not should not be acceptable to us. I've had people on this show. I know a variety of different authors. Lawrence Kotlikoff is one of them, who has made it known that there are a variety of other ways the federal government can go about protecting Social Security and actually keep it intact for you, for all the baby boomers we've got, everyone over age 50, 55 for sure, by doing a number of things like increasing FICA tax, maybe a little bit, maybe by 1.36% or so, he says, or eliminating the cap on Social Security taxable wages. So for those folks out there that are having a $500,000 a year income, $1 million a year income, they'd be paying Social Security taxes on that. Those two things independently would, according to Dr. Lawrence Kotlikoff, extend Social Security benefits for another 75 years each.
Right, I've heard that as well. I think there's a plan there. You can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. You need to come up with some kind of plan to keep Social Security healthy and moving. Yeah,
and now more than ever, finances are important for all of us, our retiring population, our baby boomers, as well as the federal government that's going to have issues coming up. But, Mike, you're a great man. I applaud you for writing a book about your father-in-law. I'll have to think hard about that one. When I go to write a book, but wonderful book, wonderful tribute to what seemed to be such a great guy there, your father-in-law, Bill Fisher. We thank you for coming on the show, and we look forward to hearing from you again and maybe having you back on the show maybe another time, Mike.
Great, Justin. Listen, it's been a great pleasure. I was thrilled to be with you today and your audience.
Wonderful. Have a great rest of your weekend, Mike.
You too.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
All right. Well, we are going to switch gears now, and we're going to talk about some news and some views that are coming out. We're going to talk about how healthcare costs are derailing common retirement savings benchmarks. You've probably heard that really you only need about 75 to 85% of your current income in the form of retirement income, because you're going to just be staying home and not driving anywhere. You don't have to pay for gas to get to work or lunch or things like that. You probably heard that before, but you know what? That's probably not a good rule of thumb, probably not the way you want to plan, especially with healthcare costs rising the way they are. We're going to be going to a break here, be back. We're going to talk about that, as well as some of the other advantages and disadvantages to investments in retirement and how you want to have a variety of things in retirement, not just one thing. Again, this is Justin, Retirement Journey Talk 1370.
Coming down the state.
Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. You can call us live at 512-643-5483 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. We've had a number of callers already for the book, and we are going to be getting those out to you. Thank you so much for listening. So healthcare costs, we all know that healthcare costs inflates faster than normal inflation rate. And we also know that the normal inflation rate that the government uses for Social Security and other programs isn't quite the same basket of goods or inflation rate that we might expect baby boomers or retirees to experience. Most of the costs and expenses that baby boomers, retirees are going to be facing are not durable goods, but rather service-oriented. Healthcare services, travel services, those have been inflating quite nicely. Well, I say that, but I'm being facetious. Of course, those expenses are going to be inflating much faster than maybe the 3% or so average that we've seen over the last 100 years. Rule of thumb, for pegging a retirement income, most people, you may have been told that 75% is probably sufficient. You don't need all of your income because you're just going to be staying home, right? You're going to be, growing your own vegetables and things like that, like a hermit. But that's not really what most of my clients are asking for. Most of my clients are asking, can I spend more money than I've been spending even, or at least the same for the next 10 or 15 years, and then maybe pull that back at year 20 or 25, because we want to see the world. We want to go to Europe, and hopefully, there's going to be peace in Paris and peace in Europe so that you can make those travel arrangements and go out there. And of course, I'm sure that those countries are going to be very welcoming of your travel dollars. And so that's what people really want. And to have a plan put together by maybe a novice that says that you're going to be okay with 75% of your income, you may just be shooting yourself in the foot there and underestimating your total expenses. And I would encourage you to look at Investment News. This is a piece by Greg Lacurci. I apologize, I'm having trouble. Lacurci. Health costs derail common retirement savings benchmark. Go check out his piece, November 12th, 2015. Again, retirement should not be built around one single investment type, only stocks or only bonds or only insurance or only this or that or only real estate. I believe in having a mix of things. And Dr. Pfau, one of my favorite retirement income planning professors, has a piece that I'm going to talk about more. If you come see me there at the office, 512-433-6492 is our office line. More than happy to visit with you. I'll give you this piece. It's entitled Optimizing Retirement Income by Combining Actuarial Science and Investments. He goes on to say that because managing diverse risks in retirement requires an integrated approach, building a retirement income strategy with only investments or with only insurance can be rather inefficient. Each approach has its advantages and disadvantages, and so therefore it's important to have a mix. And I studied with Dr. Wade Pfau in the Retirement Income Certified Professional designation, and I've learned quite a bit in my practice. And this is exactly what we do when we do retirement plans for our clients. And so if you need some help, you want an unbiased professional, I want you to visit with me during the week. More than happy to visit with you. Just talk to Jennifer. She'll get you on the schedule. So next week, we're going to have an amazing show again, 12:30 to 1:30, same station, where can you go to get plain answers to confusing questions about Social Security? Well, you're going to want to stay tuned for that. That time, we're going to be visiting with Hamilton Morales, Social Security expert with Financial Independence Group. He's going to answer some of your most urgent questions. Your situation may seem unique to you, but Hamilton has facilitated resolutions for a variety of seniors. If you want to protect, preserve, and pass on your assets to your intended heirs by using safe, simple, proven, and flexible solutions, you're not going to want to miss our show next week. We're also going to have a guest appearance, local holistic mind-body transformation expert, Brian Johnson. Think great, lose weight. He's going to help us understand what we can do, not just workout wise, but what we can do with our thinking pattern and a variety of other things to get ourselves healthier and enjoy the years to come. Many, many will come. We thank you so much for tuning in today. Thanks, Diane, for calling in. Thank our guest, Mike Burns, for being on the show. We will see you next time. I'm Justin. This is Retirement Journey Talk 1370.